Peace and blessings, everyone. This is sort of a video response, but I'm not going to try to put it up as a response directly to the video. I'm not sure if the young lady will accept it. It's actually in response to a video that Gia TV had made. And actually I originally had did a text comment to try to open up dialogue, get to the truth and give my thoughts on it. But she replied to my comment, I guess in essence with a dismissive answer, with the shaking my head, the abbreviations SMH, which was disappointing. I was hoping for more than that. Like I said, hoping to open dialogue, and Gia is a intelligent young lady. She's actually a student, so I said I'll disappoint aspect, but I guess sort of it is to be expected. That's what you generally get when you go against people and their feelings and their beliefs, especially when it's deep-seated feelings. Instead of opening up dialogue, it's just they're just closed down. It's dismissive. So in essence, she was, as I take it, in essence, she's saying, "Dude, you stupid. Shut up. Whatever." But that doesn't help. So I decided, I'll make this video and I'll put out there for my subscribers to respond to, or whoever runs across my videos. She had made a video because you might be aware recently there was a young man that committed suicide via webcam. He had taken some drugs and killed himself that way. And like I said, he had done it in front of a live audience, I guess several thousand people, and it said that even some of them goaded him on. They told him to go ahead and do it, and they was egging him on, telling him to go ahead and do it. So she made a video and saying how, for one, to take threats of suicide seriously, and then how wrong the people are that that egged them on and whatnot. And even gave her experience of someone that she knows that recently had contemplated suicide, and she had called the police. So in my comments, and this is, I actually got in a conversation with my father one time, the issue of suicide. My stance is, why must we try to save someone? Why do we feel it is our duty to save someone from wanting to take their lives? Why do we feel that it is best for them to not take their lives? It's just that, for one, a person's life, a person's existence is just that. It's theirs. And a issue nowadays, and I guess it hasn't been much in the news recently, not as much as maybe in the late 90s when Dr. Kevorkian, the issue of euthanasia, with people being put to death by way of a doctor's assistance, which people are against that. Once again, who are you to tell somebody that they must live? Who are you? And she had made a statement, about that. Basically, what you experience, in this life, it's not that serious. No matter how bad it is, that you can fight through it and it'll get better. But how can you say that for someone else? Do you know the pain and suffering that someone else has experienced? To me, it's short-sighted, self-centered for you to say, well, hey, I wouldn't kill myself, so why should you kill yourself? I put up with what I've gone through, so why don't you put up with what you're going through? You know, that old saying of fighting a good fight. Once again, it is their life. And people argue, you know, saying how precious life is. But how precious is it? Or really more specifically, how precious is this world? If this world is so precious, if our existence in life is so precious, then why is our world so fucked up? Why are we so apathetic to the condition of this world? Why are we so apathetic to other people's plights, concerns, and center around us? Because even in saying that you're worried about somebody else when they commit suicide, basically your real concern is, your real issue is that they're doing something that you're against, so you have a problem with it. They're doing something that you don't think is right, so you have a problem with it, so they shouldn't do it. And then there's also the religious aspect. I think it's more so in Catholicism, you know, that suicide is frowned upon. I don't recall it being in the Bible specifically, but if it is, let me know. I don't recall that. And of course that takes on a whole different path once we bring the religious thoughts into it, because then of course it turns into a religious conversation, and we get into about, you know, is a specific religion true, or religion in general true? Is there a God and heaven and hell? Because they say if you commit suicide, you're going to hell. So we get into all of that, you know. So that theology, that's totally different. And I'm talking about, you know, philosophically. How can you tell somebody that they should live? You know, understand, if my child, one of my children, was to talk about committing suicide or having thoughts about suicide, would I try to talk them out of it? I actually don't know right now. I'll just say one of my children had made a comments years ago about it, and I did my duty, if you will, as a father, to make sure that they knew how serious it was for them to make a statement of wanting to die, not to joke around with it, and understand, you know, how serious it is. Basically, I took the stance of most people today who are against people committing suicide. But once again, this years ago, my thoughts are different now. Once again, as a parent, would I want my child to kill themselves? No. Why? Because it is a loss. It is my child taking a life. But at the end of the day, my child is their own person. I cannot experience their pain for them. I cannot live their life for them. And for me to tell them not to take their life, it is really, in essence, me being, I don't know, greedy is a word. I don't want to experience the pain of that loss, so I don't want them to kill themselves. But once again, is that being self-centered? If it takes away their pain and suffering that they could be going through for years, then I should be happy for that, right? That they are no longer suffering. And I even in my comment I brought up about the fact that, you know, in the case of suicide, you know, we don't tell them, you know, not to do it, how precious life is. But then let's go and let's relate it to the freedom of choice, right to life issue, and how it is consistently brought up by women that, you know, it is their body, so they have the right to do to their body what they want. And what they want to do is take the life of another being. fetus or a baby, you know, depending on what point of development the child is. It is still killing. Then we get an issue of when life begins. But it is a living organism and it is being killed. So that is the truth. You know, the issue of the soul being there is another issue, but the truth is life is being taken. The cells are alive. The organs that are there are alive. That being is alive. So it is being killed. So if you can say, is there your right in one aspect, why is it not a person's right in another for them to do what they want with their body and their existence? So I'm interested in your thoughts. I'm interested in a dialogue. And for me, and like I said, if life is that precious, to me, we sure don't show it in this world. We put more things ahead of life. We put money ahead of life. We put material things ahead of life. If life was that important, then we would not let children starve to death every 5 seconds or so. I just saw recently as supposedly 5 seconds. When I researched it, I got 3.8. So between 3.8 and 5 seconds, every 3.8 to 5 seconds, a child starves to death. So if life is that precious, then why aren't we as one world doing something to prevent a life from dying because of something as simple as starvation? And it's simple because all it takes is us giving them food. But we don't give food. Why? Because we put money ahead of it. If you don't have the money for the food, then you can't get the food. God bless everyone. Peace and love.